My name is Ibitoye, and you're welcome to HR Breakout Room. This is Esther, and this is Oyinko. Esther, do you want to tell us who you're wearing today?
Okay. So I'm wearing Otiti Obuba again. This girl should pay me big money because I'm
agree
doing
at
too
this
much
point.
at this point. Yes, this is a new collection. Go and shop holiday season.
Okay, Oyinko.
I'm wearing Aqua Africa almost as
Lord.
usual, but don't worry.
Lord.
I wear a lot of. I do usually wear a lot of
Your own
Nigerian
products.
designers.
Okay, and I am wearing this wonderful, amazing T-shirt by Aqua Africa as well. Yay! All right, so Esther, what are we talking about today?
Something very dear to my heart.
Wow.
Women in the workplace. Sorry, guys. We tried to figure out what the title was. It was a mouthful. But we're really trying to put a spotlight on women and find out why we are behind the scenes in the workplace. We're having a diversity conversation. We don't think that we are promoting ourselves enough to become leaders in the business space. We still think that the male to female ratio is very high. And we think that the conversation needs to continue to be had, not just on March 8th. That's the day.
Wow.
Very true.
Serious shade.
Very true.
International Women's Day.
Not just on International Women's Day,
That's
but
true.
as much as we can. So
Yeah.
start the quick conversation, and we start to think of Oyinka was sharing with me recently about the BET lady. Oyinka, what's her name?
Deborah Lee.
Okay, and so she said, "Oh, Esther, I read this amazing book about Deborah Lee, and the first thing that flew out was, she's the one that dated her boss."
Wow.
Why is that important?
Why is that?
Why
only
did
thing
I
you
think?
remembered?
Why did that stick? Why is that, ladies? Why? Who is Deborah Lee?
She was the CEO of BET for a long time. I think she worked with them almost 20 years, actually.
Which means that she's had a lot of success in her career.
She has a lot.
But yet, when her name is mentioned, what we remember is not necessarily her career success. It's the personal things which don't matter. Because if a man was dating his subordinate and he was the president of a company, nobody would remember that. And I think that that's where the conversation stems from. I
Absolutely.
think that because of culture, a lot of times people do not respect women when it comes to careers.
Yeah.
And are we at fault? Could it really be because women are really not pushing for these things? You know, maybe because we all run recruitment agencies separate from our 9-to-5s. And even when we are hiring, do you want to admit that there are some roles that when you hear, your default is a man?
Finance.
So even
Thank you.
Even like from small things, and I think it's conditional all the way through. Even a small job like a taxi and Uber driver, when I see a woman, I say,
Can she drive?
a woman comes to drive me, pick me up.
Yeah, and you'll be a bit more conscious when she's driving. You're thinking, can I sleep in the car?
Why you they drive like woman?
Exactly. And I think that that's, first of all, with the way the future of work is changing, one of the things I'm understanding now is that there's no gender. This gender matter is dying.
It is.
Really
Internationally,
dying.
you know,
Absolutely.
women are no longer saying these roles or opportunities are for men and these ones are for women.
Yes.
But I realize that it's also our responsibility as women to begin to really push for these things. You see that there's a COO opportunity in your organization. You see that there's a seat
Apply
at
for
the
it.
board, and it will never occur to you to push for it because in your head it is reserved for a man.
Absolutely. And if it's interesting you say that, because I look at myself today, and for the longest time, the best I could see myself in the future is a global HR leader. I could never imagine myself being CEO. It just would never connect.
And you know what? As you said that, I have to give a major shout out to Tony Elumelu.
Hey,
Yes.
Oga, see,
Yes.
we respect you.
we
Why?
are just dropping
Because-
hats here.
Why? Because he is intentional about giving women opportunities.
Very
You know,
true.
because when I look at someone like Auntie Owen, I
Oh
look at
my
Auntie
God.
Dupe, when you look at the career trajectory, people will be expecting, they must have done 500 billion things before they got to
No,
this position. But
not
no,
necessarily.
he has always given women opportunities to lead his organizations. And that for me is simply phenomenal. But I also have to say shout out to Auntie Owen and Auntie Dupe because they could have turned it down.
Yes.
They could have said, no, Oga, we're not ready
not
for
for
it.
us,
Oh,
oh.
maybe it's for
Our
a man.
children.
But they are more intentional. And I know that people watching now would say, this is another feminist conversation. We are going
No,
to keep
we
talking
keep
for
talking.
women.
We are gonna
Get
be
used
tired.
to it. It's all right.
We're not there yet. Like
Exactly.
that is a conversation for future work. Someone like my company, we're still trying to get to 25% by 2020.
Wow.
So we're still a long way globally.
No,
as much as you
exactly.
hear people talk more about women in the workplace, there's still a whole long
I agree
journey
with
ahead.
you, yeah. And I think it also starts with even raising our daughters.
Yes.
You have got to start raising your daughter to know that she can become the CEO of a
Anything.
company.
Yes.
You know, my friend was complaining one day. She said that we had a meeting in the office and it was someone's birthday. So they brought in the cake, like, happy birthday. And then they were like, oh, let's cut the cake. And everybody turns to
A
her.
woman, yes.
And she's thinking, you all must be joking. Because I'm a woman, I just look like it's cake cutting. That's my experience. Guess what? She cut a slice for herself and left the meeting. The men, suddenly, their hands were working.
They got it well.
They could slice a cake.
You know, women like cutting cake.
Exactly. That's what we are good for.
I don't even want to be in the kitchen.
Me too.
I don't
that
like the
for
kitchen
me-
at all.
And that for me is where it starts from.
It is.
Culture. You know,
Yeah.
culture already has kind of suppressed women.
Yes.
And then when we get into the workplace, we also see that when opportunities to shine, visibility to do great work comes up, they always think it is better for a man. And they come up with these excuses. A man can work late, nobody will be disturbing. A man doesn't have to worry about children. But that's not true.
Yeah.
I'll give an example. I work at Sahara Group. Shout out to Sahara Group.
Hey.
One of our CEOs, she's a lady. Guess what? They were looking for someone to head one of our businesses in Ghana, she was selected. She was a mom with 2 toddlers. Guess what? She went there. She ran the business. She's back now, and she's leading one of our power entities. And for me, that is just phenomenal because it means that the business is also saying, look, because you're a woman, because you're a mother, because you're a wife, does not mean that you should be limited in your career success and career growth. And that, for me, is the intentionality that we're calling for. But while it's responsibility of organizations, we, women,
Yes.
we need to start. And this brings me to women supporting women. Should we go there?
Let's see. If you please don't break glass.
Should we go there?
But wait,
Let's not
before you
break
break
glass.
the glass. I've had amazing managers who have given me great visibility, right? So they're at a position where, you know, they already know what they can do. The high management know what they can do. And they said, oh, you can lead this project, right? You present to the executives. You do this. But I've also had a lot of stories where women have been stifling the growth of other people. So it's like, which one?
I agree with you. And I think that when it comes to this women supporting women thing, right? Initially, I used to be a people supporting people.
Yeah.
There's nothing like gender. But you know what?
No.
I've actually said no,
We're few.
actually. Because we're already a minority
Yes.
in the organization, we
Yes.
have to be very intentional
Yeah.
about creating those opportunities for women. So you will get the opportunity to be the only female board member. What are you doing? What are you saying in that room that is
Speak up.
supporting other women? You know, you have the opportunity to influence policies that will be favorable to women in your organization.
need to take
How
advantage.
intentional are you about doing that? Because the more we make the workplace more comfortable for women, the more women will begin to say, you know what, we can actually do this and we can do that. Because, you know, it was interesting, something you said, Esther, that you always thought about being a global HR lead. You never really thought of being a CEO. And to be honest, I've kind of had that thought, like, let me just leave that position for
them.
this global HR will still carry weight. But the truth is, why? Why
not
not
you?
me? Why can I not transition
And
from
if I know
HR
you,
to
you will
actually?
make a great CEO.
I don't
Yes.
know.
You can.
You have what it takes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
No, you
will.
can actually, yes.
But you see, that's the point.
It may be conditioning, really, because we're
doesn't-
just told, you know what, just stick to the safe, stick to those particular roles. But there's actually so much more.
You can.
And I think that women make better managers.
I think
It
they
was
do.
interesting. The last episode that I was here, we talked about managers. And when you
Yes.
said give a shout out, every single manager we give a shout out to was a woman.
It was true. Now I
It
think
was
about
actually
it.
a woman. It wasn't a man. Actually.
I think of what Oyiko said, and I just remember an experience that happened with me. You know, I will give you a gist last week. So I went to the refinery. I worked for the richest man in Africa. Yippee! Never met the gentleman because obviously I'm a small child. But I went with my manager, who is a global HR leader, right? And she did something. We finished the meeting and she goes, have you ever met our daddy? I don't want to call his name. And I said, no, I haven't had the pleasure. She's like, I'll fix it right away.
Yeah.
She walks me straight into a meeting where the man was sitting down with press. Goes straight to him and says hello to him. And she goes, this is Esther. And introduces me. And the guy brings out his hand.
Wow.
That's what we should
all
be
your
doing.
hard work, Esther. And now I'm pretending. I'm trying to be cool. I'm like, thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm like, what she just starts laughing. She's like, Esther, you did, I did say you did so good. And I'm like,
is
yes,
amazing.
you did that for me. So that's something I can't forget.
Another thing I thought of, right? Do you think that maybe, you know, women are branded a certain way when they get to certain positions, and that's what makes us run away? So I give an example. When you see women leaders that are CEOs, they say, oh, she slept her way to the top. And the woman says, you know what, I don't want anybody to carry that gist about me. Let me just stay
Very
where
true.
it's safe. So I feel like sometimes because we are scared of what the world would say, even if it is untrue, we actually refuse opportunities to shine. But that should not be the case. I feel like women
We should
are
be bold.
better managers. We are more empathetic.
True.
We are better planners. We are more
Shout out.
organized. Yeah. So I think that actually putting it, in fact, I need to ask Uncle Tony, why women? Because I think he's
You are
intentional
strategic.
about it.
Yes,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
strategic about
Yeah.
that as well.
And I feel as well we should also shut down the conversations, because the truth is, to Evie's point, if we hear someone slept her way to the top, is she doing a good job? Should still be the question. How is her performance?
Why does it matter?
It's not a moral
Yes.
conversation I'm having.
Exactly.
We're not in church. I'm
And
not her
nobody
priest.
says a man slept his way
To
to
the
the
top,
top.
like-
Even if he did.
Nobody cares. Let
doesn't
that be
co-
a conversation.
You see, he doesn't even believe. Look, he just in his face. He doesn't even believe that a man can sleep his way to the
You guys are
top.
the problem too. Because
Why?
I'm very sure men are sleeping their ways to the top
Exactly.
daily.
Yeah, like I said, I'm JJ.
No,
With
they
their
can be
female
sleeping
madams.
with the CEO's daughter.
Yeah.
They can be sleeping with the chairman of the board's daughter or wife.
Or the chairman of the
Exactly.
board
Just
herself.
say exactly.
I beg.
But these are not things that come up, and nobody
It
really
doesn't,
cares. But
yeah.
for women, it does. It does come up, and I think for us, our charge is, as women, look, guys, there is nothing impossible for us. There is no role that we cannot handle.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is nothing that we cannot do in the workforce, and you need to stop depriving yourself of opportunities to shine. For me, my motivating factor is when I get to the top, it's easy for me to pull other women.
That's what I
So
was
I'm
going
going
to
to
say.
fight
Yeah.
to actually get there.
And how people say men's club. As a woman, you build your own women's club as you're getting to the
Exactly.
top. And I remember reading a story on Dang, Diary Nigeria Girl,
yes.
about some friend, and she was questioning her friend. She said they've been three of them, they've been friends for a while, and that she's always sticking out her neck for her friend. And apparently, she got to a place where I think she's supposed to be in an executive role or a partnership role, and this her friend was in the room, right? Because she's not there when they were mentioning. And they said, oh, I think this lady will be a good fit, blah, blah, blah. Someone gave her feedback. Her friend said nothing. A friend of 20 years did not lend her voice to say, I know this person, she's credible, nothing.
Did she share why she didn't learn her voice, though?
She said, she doesn't like putting her mouth to other people's matter. You know, she
now.
just like to stay. She's Switzerland now. So.
I don't understand it.
Wow.
I don't understand it.
No, because I think of the fact that my mentee who works with me in the financial sector works with me today in the manufacturing sector. I brought her on board.
Exactly.
And if I get something better in the future, I'll take her on board.
Yes.
Because she's a star in the
that's
making.
what it should be.
She's one of my finest achievements.
Yeah.
I look at her career in 5 years and I'm just like, God did that.
And
Yeah.
I
And you were
think
part
that
of that.
it's
Yeah,
really that
no.
intentionality.
Yes.
Women, we really need to be aware. A lot of other women
Yes.
are not given opportunity. So when you see an opportunity come up, please push for a
Yes.
woman. Please fight for a woman. Of course, we're not saying just push for any woman.
Yeah.
We're talking about women that will
Capable,
deliver,
yes.
that have the right competencies, that have the right experience, and can actually do the job. But be intentional about bringing more women on board, because when we have more women in leadership positions, our desire is that we will have more workplaces that are more friendly and
Yes,
empathetic to
loving.
women. Because whether we like it or not, we have our peculiarities as women.
Yes.
We want to be able to raise our kids and have thriving careers that most
Absolutely.
men are able to. But when you have good policies in your organization, it would actually help you to achieve that.
I totally agree. And I feel as well, it also starts with the home front. So if it had said something and says the way we raise our children, our daughters as well, and we say that just bringing them limitless, impossible. I always say that my dad said something to me every time. He looks at you and says, you're not ordinary. And I remember my big brother, Osara, calls me once. I say, how far now? When you know say you did ordinary? I say, you dey like, and that was so, because my dad always said, he sang it so much. But to be fair, I didn't really think that there was anything I could not do.
Yeah.
Because my dad just raised me like a guy. You're not ordinary. You're not ordinary. You can do it. You
Yeah.
can do it. And that's how I
Exactly.
truly hope to raise my daughter. But I also think beyond our children, our families, our friends, our local community, pull that 17-year-old girl
yeah.
closer. Tell her the truth. Don't just help her win by saying, oh, make sure you keep yourself. Oh, don't follow bad boys. Tell her about her career.
Exactly.
What do you want to do?
Exactly.
Start the conversation now. So many young people don't even know how to forge a career path.
Exactly.
The female leaders of tomorrow are somewhere in the classrooms.
Yeah.
Adopt a young person, a family member, a friend, someone in the community. Adopt the person technically in your mind. Adopt the person's career. Leave the story about boys and
Doesn't
hair.
matter. It's
No,
not
don't leave
half
that
as
one. It's not half as important. foster her career. Let's see
Yeah.
more women.
Exactly.
Let's
Let's
walk
start
our
seeing
way.
women in tech.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's start seeing more women in engineering.
Yes.
Let's start
we
seeing
need
more women in
Yes.
construction.
Yes.
Because these opportunities are available.
Yes.
Right? This whole, and that's why I really like this thing about parenting. It really starts from there.
It does.
Because when you start forcing your daughter to read law, because that's what women read, we need to stop it. Let's
You need to,
let's stop it. You
Yeah.
know,
What did you study?
Human resource management. What do you mean? You want to say they're doing engineering?
If you
What
I
say?
studied law. Guess what? Let me not put my mother on blast. But my point is, in this day and age, right, we need to be a bit more intentional with allowing our children to express themselves. Let's
Yeah.
not be picking careers and disciplines gender.
I studied political science.
Which is actually, yes, I was.
I'm sorry. It's just, I can't.
So
do it.
I think invariably it's about
Yeah.
how we raise the girl child.
is.
Let's start getting them comfortable with certain things.
Yes.
Let them know that nothing is impossible for them. I'm not going to say, oh, my son can achieve over my daughter.
My brother
They
studied
both.
engineering.
You see, stereotype again. But
Mm-hmm.
as the world is changing, we need to be intentional about
About
these
them,
things.
yeah.
And even as women, like Esther said, actually pick someone and say, you know what, I'm going to actually invest in
Mentor,
this
yeah.
particular person. I'm going to mentor this person, because there's absolutely nothing a woman cannot do.
Agreed.
All right.
There's nothing else to add.
I think
Yeah.
that brings us to the
said.
end.
It was amazing. I think it
Yes.
was
Yes,
an
it
amazing
was.
discussion. And so I hope that we keep mentoring people, we keep pulling ourselves up. And thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, everyone. Oh, you do that thing you do, like, share.
Oh, so please don't forget to like us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, YouTube as well. Talking to you again soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.